Some of you had asked for a little bit of follow-up to the video I made on about the Q-Tech, and I'd cut some figured maple with it. Thought I would update. It's probably been 9 months or more since I put out that first video. So I have some cherry here that I want to thin down to 32nd, and this is now an 1/8. So I'm going to run it through here. I've done this a couple of times before, had pretty good results. This area right here is kind of a rotted. It does give it a good figure, but it's kind of rotted and it has a tendency to blow out. But I'm going to run it and see what if we can get it down to a 32nd without any problems. The one thing I will mention on this, it's very, very, very important to make sure you find out which way the grain is running. Because if you go against the grain on this, like if I run it in this direction here, that would be against the grain because the grain is running here. All right, so I have to turn it to cut it in this direction on this pass. So I'll be going with the grain, or it'll blow this out pretty quickly. So I'm going to turn on the vacuum, and here we go. This first pass looks pretty good. So what I'm doing here, one turn is a 16th, so a quarter turn would be a 64th. I'm going to be taking off at no more than a half of that, and maybe even a third of a 1/64. So I'm going to move this down just a little, run this again, and continue doing that until I get it down to the 32nd. Now this is fairly smooth on this side. I see I knocked out a piece right here. I'm going to move it over now to this side, which means I now running with the grain. So the grain is in this direction. I'm going to be running it in from this way. So let's see how that goes. Okay, once again, I see a little knockout right here, but this thing it's pretty smooth, and the cut's pretty smooth. So I'm just really impressed with the Q-Tech. I've had other planers, and this one is by far the best I've ever had. And it's just such a small machine anyway, easy to get around in your shop. So I'm going to continue on with this again, just barely taking off, hardly any at all, so I can hopefully will not blow this thing up. Okay, I now have it down to, that's 1/8. Sorry, yeah, 1/8. So I'm going to continue on, but I'm passing it through the board through in this direction because this rotted edge is on this end, and my thought being that as these blades go across, there's more wood on this area right here to hold this together, whereas if I was coming in this direction, it might have a tendency to grab one of these things and blow this whole thing up. So I'm going to continue cutting it in this direction. Well, I didn't make it. I got down to a 1/16. You can see it started blowing out right here around this and around this, so I didn't quite make it. I'll try another piece that doesn't have as much of that rough area down there and see if I can get it down to the 32nd.